Thank you for being here as I welcome to the Capitol, officially and personally, a dear friend, the Foreign Minister of Italy, Foreign Minister Giulio Terzi. It's an honor and a pleasure to welcome him here back to the Capitol. He's visited many times as Italy's ambassador to the United States before. And especially want to acknowledge that Foreign Minister Terzi is here, among other reasons, to kick off the celebration of 2013's Year of Italian Culture in the United States. This whole year. Starting tonight and throughout 2013, we'll have the opportunity to mark the extraordinary contribution made by Italy to America and global culture, built around the theme of research, discovery, and innovation. Moving forward, we will move together on that. Separate from that, I just want to hold up this book, because as an Italian-American, I'm very, very proud of this year that we'll be celebrating. I also have said to the Foreign Minister that there's so much of Italy in America, not just the Italian-American people, but also the Italian-American culture, which we gravitate to, whether it's music or food, science or sports or whatever it is. The contribution is a great one. While the Foreign Minister is here, it's important to note that we want to work together for our shared interest. They are a strong NATO ally, as you know. We are working to work together for the growth and the stability of the global economy, the security of Afghanistan, and we still has 4,000 troops there, the alleviation of the humanitarian crisis in Syria, and other challenges of international security and economic growth. The ties between our two countries, as I have taken pride in saying over and over again, are rooted deep in American history, country founded by an Italian, named by an Italian, and developed by tens of millions of Italian Americans in our country. We represent millions of bridges, we meaning Italian Americans, millions of bridges between Italy and the United States. Thank you, Foreign Minister Terzi, for reaffirming our nation's common faith in the future and a further commitment to the values of justice, freedom, economic prosperity, and peace. I look forward to continuing our work together to appreciate the relationship between the United States and Italy, and having that relationship be a force for peace and growth and for goodwill for all people in the world and in our two countries. With that, I am very pleased to yield the floor to a distinguished diplomat. Oh, wait, before I do, I want to acknowledge that Italy and the Foreign Minister, while we missed him when he left us as Foreign Minister, sent us a very distinguished diplomat to serve as the ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Claudio Bonsanniero. He and his wife represent Italy with great dignity and experience as diplomats, and we are proud to say to the Foreign Minister that while we miss him, he is well represented here. Mr. Foreign Minister.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Leader. Thank you very much, Madam Leader, for your words, dear Nancy. I am particularly pleased, honored, and moved to be here with you, Capitol Hill, to mark the beginning of 2013, the year of Italian culture in the United States. I moved especially because of the great affection that you have for my country, for Italians, for Italian Americans, for the Italian American organization, but for Italy as such. And I would like also to bring to you at the same time the great affection of Italian people, but also the enormous esteem and consideration that the Italian government has for your work, your leadership, and also the reference that you represent for so many Italian Americans here, for their culture, for contribution to this great country. The idea of having a whole year, 2013, dedicated to the Italian culture in the United States, and to have this event under the auspices, under the patronage of the President of the Italian Republic, Giorgio Napolitano, derives from the fact that this is a moment where the countries of the world, but especially countries like Italy and the United States, which are basing their history, their legacy, but are also betting on their future, on fundamental values for our people and for our societies, is exactly the moment when we think that culture can make a difference for the future generations, for the commitment of so many young people who cooperate already across the two borders of the Atlantic, the two sides of the Atlantic, to improve and to make better conditions for our world. So Italian culture in the United States means and will represent a very large array of projects, programs, which start from the legacy of the Rinascimento. This morning, just a few hours ago, we have presented to the National Gallery of Washington the David Apollo, an extraordinary masterpiece of the Italian Renaissance, a sculpture representing David Apollo, because it is a work which was not completely finished by Michelangelo, but in that sense it creates also the meaning of a continuity in our culture and in the value of the Renaissance. But why we decided to bring here this fantastic masterpiece? Because in 1949, when Europe was recovering from the disaster of World War II, and when Italy was so deeply, so strongly helped by the Americans, as a sense of recognition and thanking the American President Harry Truman in 1949, the Italian government sent this David Apollo here to Washington for the inauguration of Harry Truman. Now we are bringing again for the second time the same statue for the inauguration of the Italian Year of Culture in the United States. And from there, I think we can develop and we can explain the philosophy of this huge project, more than 180 programs all across the United States, in bigger and in the biggest and the smallest cities in the United States, cities which are so important also for Italian American communities, and we will have important projects in music, arts, opera, visual arts, theater, but especially looking at the future, we want to show and to demonstrate how the importance of our tradition is reflected on research, innovation, and discovery. And that is also something which is going to be very prominent in this year of celebration for both our countries. Thank you very much, Madam Leader, for what you are doing. Your commitment is very important to the relations and friendship between our countries, and I did not to spend many words to stress how important is also the cooperation of our countries for the development, prosperity of all Europeans and all the people in the world in peace and security. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm also very pleased that when President Obama issued his statement on Columbus Day, he referenced the 2013 Year of Italian Culture in America. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for making that possible. We may want to have some questions from the Foreign Minister.
Yeah, we had a couple of questions. I'd like to ask you a question also. What is your first immediate thought if you have to think about Italian culture? What is it that comes to your mind if you have, to define or to describe?
Excellence, beauty, the best, the best. We stand here in the capital of the United States, where people come from around the world to visit this temple of freedom, this beacon of democracy. And it's important to note that much of the beauty that you see in the Capitol was painted by the artist Brumidi, who was born in Italy and commissioned to do some churches and the rest in America, and then the dome of the Capitol of the United States. So every day we are inspired by that beauty and how the talent and virtuosity of his artistry captured the spirit of America. So if you're asking for a word, I feel it within myself in terms of I'm 100% pure Italian American, and the first woman Speaker of the House, but the first Italian American Speaker of the House. So all of that adds up to, I guess, a word that would say pride. Very proud.
And as a prominent member of the Democratic Party, but also 100% Italian American, what is your reaction to Mr. Berlusconi's decision to run again? Are you surprised?
Well, I'll just comment on politics in the United States. I will leave it to the foreign minister to talk about politics in Italy. I have enough to do here.
Madam Leader, on that front, can you tell us what you think of the president's latest counteroffer to Republicans on the fiscal cliff?
You know what? I'll be happy to answer those questions, but this subject right now is about what we're gathered here to start this year, and we're very excited about it. In a little while, we'll probably have a pull aside, and we'll talk about the subject at hand here, which is the budget. It's a challenge that all of our countries face, and we hope to resolve our challenge in a short time. But in any case, right now, we're focusing on 2013. Not only that, but the long relationship between Italy and the United States. Any questions for Mr. If I go, then perhaps you'll get your questions.
Thank you, Madam Leader. No, if I may, I would like also to answer the question that was put to Madam Leader by Mario Platero. What comes to mind when you talk about Italian culture? And it's very important what Madam Pelosi said. Beauty, this fantastic work of art by Brumidi and contribution of the neoclassicism, Palladio. Just look around, it is very, very, very impressive and very, very much evident of Italian legacy. But I'd like to stress one point in particular, the key factor that in Italian culture is represented by the Italian language. L'italiano is a fact, is the root, has been the root of Italian unity and the concept of Italy itself, which dates back 6 centuries at least, if not 7, before the unification of Italy. The language was there in the 13th century with Dante Alighieri, Boccaccio, and many others, and it is an enormous wealth for the country. It is a language which is increasing in the United States and in the world. It's the only European language, together with Spanish, that has increased over the last 10 years. It's important to notice the commitment of Italian-American organizations and many Italian companies in bringing back the Italian to as many high schools as possible with a system of credit which is possible through the advanced placement program. So I wanted to stress the importance of the Italian language because it comes to this project, to this wide program of activity. Just an example. An Italian artist and director, Massimiliano Finazzer Floris, is having a number of performances, in fact, dozens of performances across the United States, presenting Pinocchio. Everybody knows the story of Pinocchio, and he does that in Italian. And all his performances are sold out, very crowded, because people even people who have just a superficial knowledge of Italian like to listen and to understand these Italian representations of Pinocchio. So the importance of Italian culture in this program and in general of Italian language for Italian culture in this program and in general for the relationship between Italy and the United States.
Tempo per una domanda, se c'è solo questa question.
In italiano e in inglese c'è molto apprezzamento per l'Italia e per la cultura italiana, c'è anche forse un po' di preoccupazione in questi giorni che lei sta avvertendo qui a Washington per gli sviluppi della politica interna italiana, con il rischio di instabilità che dovrebbe rispettarsi con le missioni annunciate dal Presidente del Consiglio.
Ma più che una grande preoccupazione, in queste prime ore della mia presenza a Washington ho registrato una grande consapevolezza che l'Italia è una straordinaria democrazia basata su delle fondamenta molto solide. In Europa abbiamo contribuito da anni e ancora di più in quest'ultimo anno al consolidamento di un percorso di integrazione europeo molto sostenuto. Questo mi pare che sia apprezzato e a livello ufficiale vedo un grande rispetto per quello che è il percorso elettorale che abbiamo davanti, nella consapevolezza che quello che uscirà da queste elezioni sarà comunque una riaffermazione della linea dell'amicizia fortissima che esiste fra Italia e Stati Uniti e della solidarietà atlantica.
Scusa,